Alright, I'm a minute early, but why not? I'm ready, so let's just go. We'll give people a few minutes to get in here, so if you're watching on YouTube, just scrub forward. Same thing every week, just go forward until you see something happening. And I'll get my other computer set up. Get a pop-out chat. Do live chat. Notifications are hopefully going out. And we're ready to go. Hi, Darlene. Let me get this out. It needs a little bit of color, I think. I don't know. All right, let me see all the things that I needed to show today. Oh, that's right, that letter. And that. Okay, I got it. Hopefully the notification's gone out so we can start pretty quick, I'm hoping. And if you weren't here last week, I drew the owl in graphite, and today I'm going to watercolor over it, and we'll see how we like this. It either will work well or it won't. Hi, Dee Dee. Did a notification go out, Dee Dee? Hi, Dorothy. You got notified? Okay, so it'll just be a few minutes and people will start floating in here. But anyway, yeah, I drew this last week, and then I did go ahead and draw it again on arches. So if I like the way this turns out, I can go ahead and do like a real one and maybe make a print of it. So this is the drawing I've done. It's just the line work, and I don't know yet until I see the shading whether or not I'm gonna like it. So hi, Lena, you lurk away, girl. And that drawing that I just showed that went off the screen already, it's fairly light, so I don't know. I'll have to wait and see. I might go over it with graphite pencils. Full house of D's, no lie. Debbie, Dee Dee, Dorothy, Darlene. So what are you painting, Lena? I really hate YouTube. They did not notify me that Lena had a new video out, even though I'm subscribed with notifications on. So, hi Inspire Studios. Thanks for coming. Are you guys done already, Robert? No, he didn't hear me. So, yeah. So I don't know. That's our plan for today. We'll see how this goes. I hope it comes out good. I really do. Because this would almost be like heaven for me, a graphite drawing and watercolor. And I know it's kind of like doing a grayscale color book, but since I don't do color books, I don't know anything about it. YouTube is not responding these days. I think so too, Inspire. I get certain notifications, and like some people that I want to be notified, I've gone in and turned off notifications, turned them back on. You're doing a study of James Gurney's urban style sketching. Ooh, cool. Well, I hope you show it. Go into lurk mode, Darlene. That's good. Hi, Brenda. So, hi, Carmen. Yeah, so we'll see how this turns out. And I think that on the screen it looks like this little guy is way darker than the rest of the drawing, but it's really not. So I don't know if that's just a trick of the camera or what the heck, but we're gonna see. I'm ready to go. Hi, Ashley. Okay, when I get it at an angle, then you're getting a more accurate idea. That the density is all pretty even, I think. And there is some cleanup I could do. I don't think I'm going to. But yeah, we'll just see. It's probably only going to be important where the lighter colors are, actually. I'm excited to see how the bark is going to turn out. Thanks, Ashley. Thanks, Dee Dee. I like the new drawing better, Dee Dee. This one I have some issues with, but the new drawing I like a lot better. So, yeah. And there's more in the picture in this one. I just feel like this one's more balanced, I guess. The little one looks cute. Yeah, I'll show you guys, the book I'm working out of is The Art of Botanical and Bird Illustration by Mindy Lighthype. I love this book. I really do. I haven't done much out of it. But this is ultimately what the painting, except I don't have all this sky over here. She did the sky in pan pastels, which I have pan pastels, but I'm not necessarily prepared to do that. Hey, CB, I got your mail today, CB. I'm going to show it. But yeah, he just looks like a little fluff ball there. So, we'll see. This will be a test of my skills, or lack thereof, as the case may be. So, but I'll be using this to kind of do a paint along. Yeah. We'll see. Hi, Rachel. All right, people are getting here now. Hey, Judy. Oops. There goes my practice card. Gotta have that out. All right, so most of you know by now that hey, Mindy, doing that postage swap. Did I say swamp? Postage swap. And I got 2 submissions in. So it's starting to feel real. And I'll show 2 that I worked on. I haven't made up my mind yet. I've got about 1 million ideas. So I got a package from CB that I just said. Hey, Barbara. Swap, swamp. Yeah, they're close. CB, always the overachiever, right? No surprise there. Sent a package of, I'll move this so you guys can see them because they're so good. She submitted 4 different ones, but there's 4 of each of them. So if you participate in the swap, the chances that you're going to get one of CB's are 100%. So you'll end up with one of these. And look at, they're all in little tiny envelopes. Did you buy the envelope, CB? I suspect she did. But anyway, here's the swap card. Maybe I should get black to put it against if I have black somewhere. Navy blue will work. So yeah, you'll get one of these. Look at how awesome they are. You made them? Oh my God, overachiever. She made them. Go figure. And I don't know what the paper is, but it's lightweight. It's almost see-through. And then in each envelope, there's the ATC size, 2.5 by 3.5. Check it out. And she drew these because I asked her. She drew them. She's got a little glitter on there and a cancellation. And then 2 of the little tiny postage size ones. So way to go, CB. These are really, really good. Really good. Gonna have to step up the game here, man. Look at this one. Hand-drawn. Now, it is copies of the original hand-drawn. It's painter's paper? Okay. Well, it's awesome. The girl knows her stuff. Oh, and each of the envelopes has one on it as well. So check it out. So unbelievably well done. You're the bomb. I love little packages like this. It's just like, oh, they're so good. Check out this one. This one, I just was like drooling. Check it out. Hopefully you guys can see that really good. Her little Japanese girls. Kokishi doll. I think I said that right. And she has little bling in her red flowers in her hair. Oh, and the little ones, okay, she said they're on sticker paper, so you can cut them out and use them for stickers. Oh. Yeah, she drew it big and then shrunk it down, so yeah. But check out those little dots, the pattern on the kimono, or whatever, I'm assuming. They're so good, CB. So unbelievably good. So yeah, if you participate, chances are 100% you'll get one of these. I don't know. There was 4 of each of them, or 5, but one of them's mine, so I get to keep one of each. Look at that. Look at that. Little bling on her obi and in her hair. Really good, CB. The challenge is on. Isn't that the truth? Yeah. I shouldn't have showed hers first, because she sets the bar pretty damn high. That's all I gotta say. So thanks, CB. Last time you saved my life, sending multiple entries, and it looks like probably you've done that again. Yeah. Right, Lena? Drooling over it? So, but damn it, she didn't include a note. She called and told me, nope, missed the package. But that's okay, CB, because I got another envelope that said, and it's Starla Art. So Starla, I got one of your envelopes, but I'm waiting for the other one that has the actual art in it. No, Starla didn't do that. It was somebody else. Sorry, I'm confusing, because I got 3 today. Starla's was intact. Sorry. No, wait a minute. Okay, I got both of yours, Starla's. Never mind. Okay, so here's Starla's. She did much the same thing, which is just, these are so freaking adorable. Butterfly. And then on the back, there's a little pocket with her name, photo stamp, or faux stamp exchange from Starla. And then she gave everybody little ones of each of her entries, which that again is just so good. So okay, good. So I don't have to hold up on this one. I can put all this together now. And thank you for the postage, Starla. Appreciate that so much. Okay, got it. Oops. So yeah, these are so cute. I'll show the big ones of each of them. But yeah, on the back is little ones, and I'm not sure if they're on sticker paper or not. They don't look like it, but I'm not going to mess with them because, yeah. So here they are. All different, all original. She put the gold on the edges, mounted them on black, made the little pockets. So y'all are a bunch of overachievers. And one thing I like about this, the first thing that I noticed when I opened them was I like the geometric shapes in the background. That is very appealing to me. And they look like they're watercolor. So good job, Starla. They're awesome. So if you're lucky and you join us, you might get one of those. All right, I'm going to put all of this in her original package now. So thanks for participating. I do too, CB. That's when I'm always really excited when they start coming in, to see everybody's different take on, you know, a pretty generic theme. Everybody can do kind of their own thing. So this is one I did, because, yeah, I'm sock monkey freak. And this is a sticker. I didn't draw that. All I did was measure out the background and then did the background design with a ruler, of course, duh. And, of course, then I had to go look up the history of sock monkeys because I honestly did not know. Hi, Kat. Hi, anybody I missed coming in. Nanamo. But the sock monkey came out the first time it appeared was by the Nelson Knitting Company in 1915. So I did 15 cents for the postage, and they're located in Rockford, Illinois. And I don't know if they make sock monkeys to this day. So, yeah. So that's one. And I'm not sure if mine will all be different or if I'll decide on one and just do one for everybody. I haven't decided. And then this is one that I'm currently working on. It's going to be postage from Mars or some planet that I make up. And it's a Martian standing on their planet. He's giant. And there's the little tiny Earth in the background. And they have pink skies wherever this is. And it's not focusing, you freak. Already lost it. So yeah, I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do. I really don't. And he's a rubber stamp that I have. So, yeah. Well, it comes and it goes, CB. That's all I can say about my crazy mind is some days it's here better than others. And that's pretty much all I got to say about that. And then the other day, Friday, and I told, well, maybe it was Friday, I don't know when it was, but it was sometime since I streamed last week. I got a letter in the mail. And the name seemed a little familiar, but I thought, well, it's not a current fib. I don't know where I know that name from, but I know that name. And I opened it up, and it was this photograph, and inside was this little book. And so I looked through the book before I read the letter, because that's me, right? But as I'm reading through this little book, I'm thinking, you know what? I have every one of those stamps that are shown here, and that sure looks like my handwriting. So I'll just flip through the book, and it's about some mice in this little girl's house that can talk. And you can see this writing and then this writing. And as I was reading this, I'm thinking there's something about this that is so familiar. But it never really clicked. So I went ahead and I read the letter. And I'm going to read you the letter because, you know, this was back in the late 90s. And my life was a little upheaval then because I was taking care of my sick husband and arting and physical therapy and just blah, 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 blah. You don't even want to hear it all. Hey, Mark. But anyway, I'm going to read you this letter. Dear Merle, I'm not sure if you'll remember me, but my name is Christina, and I won't say her last name. And in the late 90s, when I was about 8 years old, I was homeschooled, and somehow my mom connected us. That's when things started connecting with me. We were writing and illustrating a story together about mischievous talking mice. I was recently looking through my old school projects and found our book. I scanned it and printed it out so you can have a copy. I looked up your name and old address from the return address label and checked on the internet and found this address. Don't think that you're not easy to find, boys and girls. You are. I don't know if it's correct or if I'm even writing to the correct Merle Young, but I wanted to reach out anyway. Thank you for being my pen pal and writing this story with me. I'm sorry we didn't get to finish it, but it is a treasured memory of mine. I still do artsy things on occasion. She took the photo of this card and was selling them on Etsy around 2011. But these days I'm mostly busy working on my PhD in anthropological genetics. If you would like to reconnect, I'd love to hear from you. And then she gave me her address and her email. Please don't feel pressured to respond. I just wanted to be sure you knew what an impact you had on my life and to thank you for that. Sincerely, Christina. I have to say, you guys, this, even still, almost brings me to tears, because this little girl, 8 years old, I think how we got connected was I had done some art and it was published in Rubber Stamp Madness, and her mother reached out to me. Hi, Galena. And I'm not sure how it happened, but I remember trading stuff with her mother as well, because I did a lot of swaps back then. But probably what this little girl doesn't realize is that I had an impact on her life, but probably at the time, knowing what was going on in my life, she probably saved me. So I guess the reason I even brought this up in the stream is sometimes a small act of kindness can make a big difference. So, Christina, I am going to write you back. I was going to do it yesterday, but yesterday with all that was going on, I was just not in the mood. And when I want to be in the right mood when I write her back, because I want her to understand that not only may I have had an impact on her life that I didn't know or appreciate at the time. Looking back 20 years, okay, we're literally 20 years out now, and she's a grown woman. I don't think she probably appreciates how having that outside contact was so valuable to my life. So, yeah, like this, let this be a reminder that sometimes a small act of kindness can reverberate for years to come, right? So, Christina, if you come back and you watch this video, just know that getting and receiving that mail was so valuable in my life too. So, and I think the universe does that. I don't know what she was needing at the time, don't know what I was needing, but for whatever reason, it was timely and necessary. So thank you, universe, you know? So I will treasure this literally forever. I really will. So what goes around comes around. Isn't that true, Nanimo? And it's, you know, it's not difficult to be kind. Hi, Kathy Arbor. Okay, and I did paint along with Kathy Arbor the other day. I haven't finished it. What did I do with that? Let me see. I'll find it real quick, because I think I know what book I put it in. But that was fun, Kathy, last Thursday. Well, no, that was Tuesday, I guess, because Thursday I was busy and couldn't come. So that was my paint along with Kathy Arbor. And I don't know, this is an Arteza, whatever, watercolor book. This paper is really, really hard to paint on. So it's not the best, and I intend to do a background on it. But yeah, it was fun to paint along. So thank you again, Kathy, as always. I never go to your streams that I don't learn something and have an hour or so of fun while I'm there. But I have to say I'm the worst mod in the world because I'm painting and not modding. So that's that. I think that was all I had to show. But thanks for you swap participants. You got White Knight watercolors a month ago. Get them out, Galena. You sent an email on the swap. I'm sorry, Cheryl. I'll write myself a note to check the email. God, I'm so sorry. I even wrote myself a note, but I'm going to write myself another. I did for about the first week. All right. I'll check my email, Cheryl. Yeah, I love the paint-alongs. I really do. I love drawing along with Dee Dee on days that she draws. And I like painting with Kathy. I will probably never, ever do a collage. But don't ever say never, because you never know. But I don't see myself starting to save stuff to do a collage because, yeah, that would require more than this girl can do. Okay, so this is the Great Horned Owls that we're going to paint. I'm going to go along with her instructions in the book and use whatever good judgment I can as I go, right? I am bad at email. That's why I should just probably publish my phone number and say, if you guys need me, just call me. It's probably the only way you're actually going to get in touch with me. Because otherwise, I suck at Facebook. I suck at email. And sometimes I even suck at answering the phone. But I do try. All right, so here we go. We're going to read the first instructions. That's why I gave you my number, Tina. That if you're waiting for me to check Facebook, yeah, you're going to wait for a long, long time. I haven't been on Facebook in weeks and weeks. Hey, Lori Loves Montana. I haven't seen you around for a while. Thanks for coming. Okay, and the material she used on this was graphite, obviously. Watercolor, which I went ahead and got my colors ready. She used some gouache, and I might have to get my gouache out, which is good because I never use it. And then she also used pan pastels. I don't know if I'm going to do the pan pastels. I think based on the colors that she's showing, I think she used the pan pastels primarily in the sky. I may get them out, but I doubt it. But we'll just see. If they need it, I'll get it out. Okay. I'm just going to read what she says. Oak tree bark is very textured. In this illustration, it encompasses almost half of the drawing. It's also in the background, and I prefer to start with the background and work forward. This is partially why I choose to begin with graphite. I used a large HB pencil lead holder to begin blocking in elements of the bark, working in the direction of the surface contour and light source, which is what I did last week. Hi, Vaughn. You're going to start putting sticky notes on me? So the texture of the paper comes through the strokes. I wanted to be able to model the texture and undulate some areas to recreate the terrain of the bark. To do so, I used the point of a paper stump to get into the areas behind the leaves. And as far as I'm concerned, this drawing is as good as it's going to get. So that's it. So, and then she talks about drawing the rest of the drawing. Okay, with the graphite drawing complete, this is where we're at. It's time for color. Hematite is a mineral found naturally, and its color ranges from black to steel or silver gray, brown to reddish brown or red. Many watercolor manufacturers have created a paint using this mineral, and it's one of my favorites. What I did was used the Daniel Smith paint, so on that. Otherwise, everything else is M. Graham, and this is, I'm going to say it's Canson 140 pound. I sent you a pic of your ultrasound like a week ago. I suck, Galena. I suck. I'll get on it, Galena. I promise. When dispersed into heavily wetted paper, the particles break up and granulate. The color and granulation was a perfect fit to overlay the pencil drawing of the bark. I started at the top and systematically worked my way down the page. So I guess that's where I'm going to start. And I hope I mixed enough paint. I should have. I think it's too dark, actually. I think I need to lighten it a little bit. All right, so we're going to do the bark first. Yeah. All right. You ready for nothing? And I'm working with the number 10 silver black, or 8 black velvet. And I just have this here, and I'm going to have to probably put the Focus You Freak somewhere, because the camera really doesn't like white. Yeah, the M. Graham or the Daniel Smith both granulate well. For sure they do. Hi, Sharon. Hi, Jane. I hope I haven't missed anybody, but knowing me, I probably have, so. All right, here goes nothing. And I'm resting my hand on this paper because there's so much graphite on the page. If I don't, I'm going to have one great big graphite mess on my hands, so. And I'll start with the light, and if I have to, I'll go back and add the dark. But it's more an experiment to see how I like the watercolor over the graphite. I'm really kind of hoping I do like it, because those are right now my kind of 2 favorites. And I'm really hoping the graphite kind of just drops into the background, but provides a little bit of depth. We'll see. One big old fat experiment. What the heck? I don't know how many of you watercolor. I haven't been doing it all that long, really, and I don't do it too consistently, and that's probably a big fat mistake. And I'll try and tell you the colors as I use them. This is hematite, which is a mineral, which actually looks more kind of steel gray. If you look at a picture of it on the internet, it looks more steel gray than this actually is. Primatech, that Daniel Smith Primatech is what I was trying to think of. This is really just a wash. I probably will go back in. I'll add some more paint and go back in with the dark. But right now I'll just give it a wash of what I hope to be the lightest shade. So Galena, if you sent me a picture of your ultrasound a week ago, that must mean you're expecting again. So congratulations to you. And Travis, little monkey's going to have another sibling. So that's awesome. What brush am I using? It's a silver black velvet. These are my favorite brushes. They're the best brushes I have, and they've ruined me, frankly, for any other brush to use. I also have, I think it's called a rake brush out, because I'm going to need that probably for the feathers and stuff. So I told you a few weeks ago, find out gender. Okay, well now, Galena, you've got me worried that I should be worried about my own cognitive ability, and all I was worrying about was Robert's, frankly. So now you've got me worried about my own. Thank you for that. Well, I'm happy for you guys. Could be that I've had a little bit on my mind lately. There's been actually a lot going on just in life in general, and then around here as well. So none of it horrible, none of it to worry about, but just stuff that takes your attention, keeps you from doing the things that you might do otherwise, you know? Or remembering the things that you probably ought to be remembering. Hell, most days I'm lucky if I get us fed. That's what I feel like the last 2-3 weeks. And that's pretty much my only job. And I'm trying to do this in sections where I don't have to go back in and add paint to an already dry section, right? Size of the brush is 8. I've heard from people who really know how to paint to always use the largest brush that you think you can handle. So I do have a silver black velvet number 10, but I find that I either go to the 6 or the 8. Almost always. That's the brushes I'm most comfortable with. If you go watch Kathy Arbor, she must use size 25. It looks like you could mop your floor with it. But yeah, they say paint with the largest brush you think you can handle. And that's probably why it takes me so long to do any damn thing. Because I'm just barely inching along. And that, honestly, it says a lot about lack of confidence more than anything. Even though I've been doing it for, I don't know, maybe a year and a half. Maybe a little bit longer. Yeah, I would say my biggest hurdle at this point is probably confidence. Which is not a comfortable place for me to be, because as a rule, I'm a pretty confident person. So far, so good. So, size matters. Well, actually, in some things, size does matter. Don't let anybody tell you different. But I don't think it would come as any surprise to any of you to find out that the reason I use the small brush is I'm basically a control freak at heart. If I can control it, I'm going to. Oops. And there I was thinking I'm all shy and timid. Well, I am, of course. Yeah, we're not going there, Tina. We're not going there. But thanks for the offer. I try and be pretty good on stream. I might have to mix some more of this paint, which is fine. I don't mind. I tried to be a little bit prepared today so that you guys didn't have to endure that. But now that you're here, I don't care what you have to endure, how you like that. Because you have an off button. The problem with this background being so darn dark, it means I'm really going to have to excel on the birds. I don't think I was ever shy or timid, Tina. I don't think it's one genetically possible, but I think more importantly than that even is 5 brothers. When you have 5 brothers, you don't have the option of being shy and timid. You're mean, you're outspoken, you don't worry about anybody else's feelings because if you can hurt them, that's a bonus. Yeah, 5 brothers will ruin you. They'll either make you better or ruin you completely. And then 5 sons as well. So, yeah. I blame it all on toxic maleness. Because isn't that what you should blame it on? I'll find something to blame it on. All right, that looks like all the bark behind them. I think having 5 brothers would make you... It does, Tina. The thing is, when you have 5 brothers... Hi, Juanita. You can never be embarrassed. And that's the truth. 5 brothers make sure that you can never be embarrassed about anything. Because if they know that there's a button to push or something that embarrasses you, it becomes a weapon. Well, after a while, it's only effective for short term. So, I'm getting out the paint, so I'm going to mix some more brown. So yeah, you just get where you have 0 ability to be embarrassed, and you have to learn to come back, like really fast. Really, really, really fast. Or they'll eat you alive. That's been my experience. But in many ways, sometimes I think my sister was worse than my brothers. Just saying. All right, I'm going to add a little bit of the dark. I did add a little bit of brown to this, so... Because when I was doing my samples, I thought that color alone was just too black. I didn't want it black. All right, we're good now. Yep, Daniel Smith Primatech paint is what this is. Having quick wit is a great weapon. It's probably what saves you. But I think more than anything is you can't get embarrassed anymore. This down here, with these like fern leaves and this Spanish moss and stuff, this is going to be tedious. So just get ready. It's going to be tedious. And this is going to be a little bit darker, which is fine. I don't care. I'm going to add a little bit more of the brown. That's all right. I'll go with that. I'll tap it. Could you do some magical stuff? I'm struggling with the product. I'm sure it's operator error. Yeah, you know, that's funny, Sharon, because I was thinking that the other day that I haven't used my magicals in a long, long time. So yeah, I'll do it next Monday. How about that? The thing about magicals is you've got to give up control. Like, yeah, you cannot control magicals. Believe me, if I could, I would have. But yeah, when it comes to magicals, you just got to let them do what they do. But they're fun, so yeah, I'll get them out and we'll make some painty papers next week. I'm going to use this big brush for these little areas, but I may be sorry, so we'll see. How'd I get blue in there? Get rid of it. I like the way this Spanish moss actually turned out, so. I think that's what she called it. And I suppose after I'm done with this, depending, well, the graphite's going to leave a sheen. I was going to say, if there's shading that I wanted to go back and add, I could probably go back in and add some additional graphite later, but yeah, you'd have to take into account the graphite sheen. And the watercolors are going to eliminate that. So I will. Dee Dee asked me to post my email. Oops. It would help if I could spell my own name right. There you go. Yeah, it's we have until October 1st for the deadline for the swap, so it's not like you're too late to join. Go ahead and join now. Because you're going to get some awesome art like I showed today. You know, I really don't care what Dee Dee says. You guys are way, way talented. And for those of you who were here last week, I did go ahead and draw some more after I finished on stream last week. So if it looks a little bit different than what you thought you saw last week, it's because I did go ahead and add some more. Down in here, this was all, and I added more greenery up here. So it is a little bit different than what you saw last week. Hang on, in just a second I'll check chat again. See what else Dee Dee's telling me to do. All right, nothing in caps, so I'm going on. I'm moving on up. Got really quiet in here, didn't it? Actually doing these little leaves down here. Right now what I'm wishing is that my drawing was just a little bit clearer. Is really what I'm wishing, because I'm having to decipher. Is that leaf? Is that bark? I don't know. Oh, my mom is summoning me. You go take care of your mother, Tina. I'd be the last one to tell you, no, that's unacceptable. I would love to have a mom to take care of. Ooh, I just went over that crap. Let's see if I can pick that up. If not, it'll be okay. Yeah, love your moms while you have them. Someday you're going to wish you had them. So I hope you guys are doing something creative right now. Either gluing in mini books, a la Dee Dee. Watercolors always dry lighter than they go on, so for something like this, that's awesome, because you can go back in and just add some depth later with just another coat of paint. It looks like Virginia creeper growing up the tree. Yeah, that's what I thought so too, Kathy. I had Virginia creeper at my house in Boulder, and I actually moved it down here, but I ended up tearing it out down here, because if I thought it grew like a weed in Colorado, oh my God, down here it was a weed. It was an absolute weed. I could not control it at all. We had it on in our backyard. We had a great big retaining wall, and I planted it there to keep the sun from just blasting the backyard, right? But yeah, it looks like Virginia creeper to me too. And then this, I don't know. It has a more rounded leaf, but yeah, that definitely looks like Virginia creeper. And if you ever need to cover a retaining wall, that is a great plant to look for, because it grows in almost any kind of climate. In the South, it's yeah, it's a weed. It's very easy to control in Colorado. It just grew on the wall and died in the fall and came back in the spring, and it was awesome. Down here, holy crap. Well, another thing that happened with the Virginia creeper down here, it got poison ivy in it. And we didn't have poison ivy in Colorado, or at least not in our groomed yard. Down here, it's everywhere. Poison ivy, poison oak. So yeah, I had to get rid of it. But I would have loved to have that from my yard in Boulder. Oh, that blue. How did I get blue on that? Dang it. Someday I should dig out those pictures. I don't have gardens now like I did in Colorado. One, because gardening is so different down here. It's amazing the difference. But two, down here I have the deer to deal with. And I learned that very quickly, that anything you plant down here becomes deer food. So you're going to the Mont Blanc shop Friday, Michelle? Oh my God. You are such a lucky dog. I think it was in Australia that I went into a pen shop. I think it was in Melbourne. And they had Mont Blancs in there. Are you going to buy one, Michelle? You going to take out a second mortgage on your house to buy that fountain pen? Because that's about what it takes. Still, it's just fun to go look at them and hold them They're so nice. They're so nice. Lucky dog. This probably is not the last coat for this bark either. It's probably the last coat I'll do while I'm on stream, but yeah. I'll probably have to add some additional color in here just so it doesn't look quite so flat. So don't run over it with a lawnmower, just pull it up and follow the vine. Alright, we're getting really close to moving on. I didn't mean that for that to be quite that dark, but the only reason it's upside down is because I wanted to keep my hand out of the wet paint. There's no other reason than that. I could just as easily be doing this right side up. All right, let me look in the camera and see what I'm liking or not liking. It's funny what you can see in the camera that you don't see while you're actually painting. Looking for a good fountain pen for pen and ink. We'll see what else they have and have a drool. We'll see. Yeah, don't get attached. They make absolutely beautiful pens, but maybe I was talking to you last week too. Somebody asked in this stream what my favorite was, and I said Mont Blanc. Mont Blanc is my favorite fountain pen. But they're pricey. But the truth is, there are so many nice, inexpensive pens out there that you don't have to invest that kind of money. I think for most people, it's more of a status thing than actually any real knowledge of fountain pens and all that. I've always felt like that it was more of a status thing. But I'm appreciative that my boss was kind enough to get me one. But if I was spending my own money, no, I would not probably own a Mont Blanc. I just could not justify that kind of money. Not when there are such nice, less expensive pens out there. I just couldn't justify it. I don't care if I had a ton of money even. I couldn't justify that kind of money for a writing instrument. Because even though I'm half crazy, I still am somewhat frugal. So, all right. I think for the initial background, I'm good with that. Because remember, that's just the background. So hopefully we're going to improve from here, right? All right, so the next thing she did was the lichen, which doesn't show on my drawings. So we're going to move right over that. She does the, she calls this Spanish moss down here. She did it with white gouache. I'm going to save the gouache for the end. There are Yeo shops there. Yeo. I don't know what Yeo is. Is there something I need to know, Michelle? If there is, let's get it on the table right now. All right. So if I'll do the Spanish moss later. I didn't do the lichen because it's not in my drawing. I be liking your painting. Thanks, Rachel. I like a good pun. I love a good pun. The next thing in the book is the allies. A lot of the background information has been blocked in, and now it's time to bring the painting to life. When painting any animal, be it human, bird, or cat, the best way to do this is to paint the eyes. And we've all learned that from Dee Dee like a million times, right? I placed the large pupils of each owl in the darkest areas of graphite and left a white highlight consistent with my light source. I lost my place. I then created a medium yellow mixture and an orange yellow mixture. I placed the lighter yellow over the entire eye, including the dark pupil. Then I placed the darker orange yellow just under the eyelids. This helps show the eyelid casting a shadow over the eyes. You know what? That makes me think. Sometimes I'm watching Dee Dee do the, you know, like when she's painting animals or anything, and sometimes Dee Dee does things without telling us what she's done. So when you see her eyes like come to light, she just does that. She puts the shadows in where they go, and I think that comes with just when you know what the hell you're doing, which she obviously does. Okay, now she told me to mix just a Hansa yellow. I'm going to use the Hansa yellow on the eyes, and then I'll add some little bit of orange to it. And both owls have yellow eyes, so here we go. Here goes nothing. I'm not going to do my highlights, though. If I paint over the highlights, then I have to go back and add white. Well, I guess I can add white later. Who cares? Who cares? But I'll have to make that black again, too. And there is no black watercolor paint that is true black. You either mix it, or I'll use ink on mine at the very, very end. So I'm going to have to get the paint out because she didn't say anything about orange. Of course, I didn't read about it either. My bad. But I guess you kind of have to do that again to get rid of that sheen from the graphite. So I kind of understand the method to her madness. And if you haven't seen my paint palette before, this is Daniel Smith up here, M. Grams down here. All right. I have not fixed my cheat sheet yet either. Thank you, Dawn. Read and chat real quick. What kind of pen you use? Oh yeah, pens. Oh my God, I've got a million. Yeah, that's a bad question. But for fountain pens, probably my favorite just writing pen for fountain pen would be, without going into the Mont Blancs, I would say Lamy. The Lamy Safari is a really nice pen, very inexpensive. It's definitely a good starter pen for sure. And you can get them in awesome, pretty colors. And ink for the fountain pen, any Japanese ink, you won't be disappointed with. For black, non-waterproof ink, either Noodlers or Carbon Black. Actually, I think I like the Carbon Black better than the Noodlers even. So there's that. Okay. Now, after you do the eyes, let's see. Black straight out, she's talking about black now too. Black straight out of the tube can render the subject flat, especially black gouache. I used a vibrant layer of phthalo blue in the pupil area as well as in the beak. Okay, so I will go ahead. Let's see. It was, I'm figuring out which position the phthalo blue is. It's the second one. Yeah, it's this one. So I'll put very light phthalo blue over the beak, but I will go in and add black later. But I understand her doing this. It's going to look weird until I get the black back in there. And then the highlight I'll add. And the little baby bird, how come I didn't blacken his? I'm going to have to use graphite here real quick. Where's this one will do. Guess I didn't finish the drawing. Okay, I'm only doing what she's saying, so there you go. Seems weird to put the blue in here, but we're doing it anyway. Alright. It may look strange, but the underlying color adds depth and sparkle to the finished painting. Next, I layered black and white gouache over the beak, which I'm doing that very last. Gently blending and alternating the black and white in a watery mixture to sculpt the beak and give it form. To finish the eyes, I took the handle of my paintbrush and dipped it into a diluted white paint, Adding water gives it a creamy consistency. It should be opaque, but not too watery.
Okay. I'll dig some up.
When I add the white back,
All right, bye.
I probably am going to go with acrylic quickly. Okay, see you later. Don't mess with, don't jack with your arm.
I'm not.
Okay. Just had to tell Robert Vaughn what not to do. Hey, Devin. The leaves almost look like marijuana plants. Not in my marijuana garden. No, I'm kidding. And I'm going to do either acrylic or I'll do something. Hi, Miss Allie. Haven't seen you in a while. Hope everything's well. She's saying white gouache is always best used straight out of the tube. I'm not a huge fan of gouache, so I will probably skip either straight to acrylic or a white pen. I squirt out small amounts often while I'm painting rather than more substantial amount all at once. Alright, next she does the Virginia Creeper. It is Virginia Creeper, Kathy. And then she gives the actual Latin name, which I'm not going to try and pronounce. Quinquefolia, something. It is often mistaken for poison ivy. Well, in Oklahoma, if you have Virginia Creeper, you also get poison ivy. The best way to tell the difference is to look for 5 leaves. Poison ivy has only 3. I have often seen Virginia Creeper growing up the tree trunks of an old oak tree. Mine was growing on an oak tree too. And like the addition of the purple/blue berries with the red stem, I mix varying amounts of Hansa yellow light and ultramarine blue to create a variety of greens, even though only 2 colors are used to mix the green. I wanted to make certain there was a variation to create interest. I covered all the green leaves in the composition, varying the greens and keeping my light source in mind. So this is where the challenge comes in, is to make the leaves come to life. We're going to do our best. How about that? And she said she was using the Hansa yellow and the ultramarine blue. I'm going to get that other mixing tray out here, I think. What did I do with it? This will work. It's clean anyway, so that's a good thing. Just mixing some of the yellow and blue over here. So I have some different greens to work with. That's just the yellow and the blue. Trying not to contaminate my paints. And I'm doing, like, one is obviously very much darker than the other. And I shouldn't need a lot of this. Let's see what we got. Not the prettiest of greens, I have to say, but not the worst either. Okay, we're going with that. And then my basic green is, well, it's a mixture. I have to look it up on the computer again, but it's as close to Paroline as I could get. So, I'm going to do the lightest first, and then go in with the shadows. I wanted a little bit more yellow than that. Okay, that's a pretty green. This palette of colors, yeah, this is what the book has recommended. Now I'm just adapting it as I go based on her instructions. So we're doing this first, and I'm going to go ahead and do a wash over the whole leaf of just the lightest green. And then I can come back in and add the darker and shadows later. And I'll do one at a time. One entire section of leaves at a time. And this cheaper paper dries pretty quickly. So if you're going to do wet on wet, you have to work relatively quickly. You don't have the luxury of time. When I work on the arches and get it wet, it definitely makes a difference. So if you're new to watercolor, that's the difference between a really nice watercolor paper and the inexpensive, which in my world is more than adequate for my skill level and what I'm doing. But in all honesty, the more expensive paper, yeah, see, it would have behaved so different up here. All right, I'll come back. Well, the only thing the graphite did, like if you look in the bark, this is my feeling so far. I'll probably come back and watch part of this video later and pay attention. You're working on the same one, Kathleen. Awesome. And I think it's a little bit hard to see on camera, and maybe we'll notice it more when we get into the lighter colors. I can see the graphite behind the paint, and so it's helping create the depth. But until I finish stuff, you know, I may not be able to know. That's kind of, but it's just like having I guess the line art on color books as well, you know. I do like the drawing though. I'm gonna let that one dry. I'm not liking the way the wet on wet worked, so I'm gonna let that one dry, and I'll just come back in with the darker colors. Live and learn. And I know it's hard to see this light green on the screen, but you'll probably see it better after I get the dark with it. By the time I finish this one, that top one should be dry enough to work on some more. I was really hoping that this paper would take the wet on wet differently, but when all else fails, go to plan B. Alright, and the vines on the Virginia Creeper, now mine weren't red. Well, maybe there was a tinge of red, but not red like she's showing it on here, so and I don't necessarily want those to look like I've just drawn them in, so, but it's going to take all the colors, I guess. Another thing about working with nicer paper, and I was just thinking about this because I thought, well, do I want to pick up any of that color? At some point, you know, you kind of got to ask yourself, what do I need to do at this point? With the nicer paper, you are more able to pick up color off it. This is absorbing so fast and drawing so quick. After you've got it down, there's almost zero chance that you're going to be able to pick it up. kind of softening some of those edges a little bit. And right now I'm more moving the color than I am, or picking up, than I am adding. Just to soften it, but still leave the hopefully the darkness of the colors. I don't like when it looks drawn. I like it soft. And as I'm doing this, somebody had asked about the graphite. You can see the graphite, but I don't think it's a distraction. So that was the thing I was wondering about, because I was not going to go back in here with ink or anything, you know, like sometimes at the end of a drawing, depending on how I like it or how I want to change it, I might go back in with ink later. I'm not going to do that at all on this one. Not at all. So it's kind of good that it's there in the background, because it adds a little bit of definition, but I think it's faded well enough that it doesn't really distract. So that's a good thing. What did I do with that other paint? Put this on top of it? I did. I'm going to go back now and add some little bit of yellow. I think I want yellow. Just as I'm watching this happen, yeah, I think I like to add some of the Hansa yellow back. Not too much. And you can see how fast this paper dries. I'm not moving anything underneath it. That's how well absorbed into the painting it is. Alright. And then I'll come back in at the very end and add the very, very darkest green. So let that dry. There's part of me that really hates this paper. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's not the paper at all. Yeah, sometimes I really hate this paper. It's making hard water lines. Not use some papers, even watercolor to grab the colors. Well, it grabs the color, but the thing that's pissing me off right now is it's making hard water lines. Yeah, that's pretty much that. But, and I actually, like most of the time I'll tell you guys, I don't mind using, the Cansons and stuff like that. I really don't. I don't mind. Okay, now there it seems like the paper is the exact right wetness. But it dries unevenly too, and that is annoying as hell. So why did you guys come here? To sit here and listen to me whine? Whine about crap product that I buy? I've been doing really good, man. I haven't bought anything in forever. I haven't even bought the half comp books yet. I went and put them in my cart, and I thought, you know what? 24-hour rule. I have a 24-hour rule. Put it in your cart. Come back in 24 hours. If you still just have to have it, go ahead and order it. I haven't gone back yet. But then, like, when Dee Dee shows it this morning, it's just like, I'll just go order it. Who cares? But then I think, what am I going to do with 10 of them? And would I really work in them? What do you guys think? But they're so cute and novel. It's just like, oh, I want them so bad. But would I really use them? I don't know. I don't know. Came to learn from my mistakes. Good, Michelle, because that's what probably you're going to end up doing. So it's all good. Little symbiotic relationship here. But I think too, like when I'm using this kind of paper, you make adjustments as you go. So I can already tell that, like on this leaf, I'm doing different than I did up here. So you make the adjustments as you adjust to the product. So ignore me when I whine. Everybody else does, believe me. Okay, now I'm getting it to behave more like I want it to, so that's good. Just me being a whiner. You kind of like the paper? You like the Canson? Well, I have to say, I don't dislike it, but I think if you go from using one paper and then using another paper, and because now that I'm having to blend these colors a little bit more, I'm getting it to behave better for me. So it's operator. It is definitely operator. I'm slow as hell though, you guys, and I do know that. Nope, I don't want to do that yet. I almost just did something really stupid. You know what? No matter how much room you have, you never have enough. Hey, Flo. It's good to see you. Where the heck have you been, girl? It's been a couple weeks at least. Hope you're well. Everything's okay. Yeah, I think I like that one a lot better. All right. Put the mid in first. Well, it's all right. We've only got an hour left, you can believe it. I'm not going to hold this over for a third stream, so whatever I get done today is what I'm getting done. But I will definitely, if I end up liking it a lot, I will go ahead and finish the second one. And it's going to behave so much differently just because of paper, so there's that. This has got to be the fastest well, no, Dee Dee's 3 hours, I think, is the fastest 3 hours on the planet. Seems like she just barely gets started and she's saying, okay, gotta go, see you, bye. But I have to say, this has got to be the fastest 3 hours on the planet. See, it's like I'm just getting set up and then I'm already tearing it down. I don't leave my camera and stuff up. Okay, tomorrow Google is coming to hook up your new internet. Yay! I can't believe that you won't be able to get back to your regular email, CB. But maybe if it's tied to your provider. Now, when you set up your Google account, CB, you won't lose it. You'll always have that access to Google. But I'm pretty sure I used to have a AT&T email because AT&T was my provider. But I could still go into AT&T even after I got HughesNet and so yeah, that just seems odd that your email is tied to your provider. I'm not saying it's not so, because what the hell do I know, right? But it just seems so odd. I'm glad I went with Yahoo early on, and I never had to face that baloney. But CB, when you get your new email, make sure you send it to me, okay? I mean, I'll check it sometime in the next month, I'm pretty sure. All right, I'm liking that leaf a lot, or those leaves. So that one up there, yeah. Oh, what did I do? What did I put my paint in, for God's sakes? Just slap that brown right on there, girl. Where did I get rid? You guys, I am not that dumb. I am really not that dumb. I did not put my paintbrush in the red. I have ghosties. What the hell? All right, there's the yellow that I was looking for. Golly. After this dries, I'll probably come back in and add some little bit of shading. And in the end, if I want to, now one thing I do love to do, I like to come back in with colored pencil. So, okay, and on the vine that ties it all together, she used, I think it was quinacridone rose. Let me double check. Yeah, quinacridone rose. So make sure that's good and clean. I don't want yellow or brown or green or anything else in there. I'm going to go ahead and add water first because I don't want it just all, yips. I'm going to use the smaller brush. Save myself. I don't remember if there was a vine in between there and I painted over it or not, so we're just going to leave it. I'm going to mix a little bit of the quinacridone rose with a little bit of blue. So I can just add some in here and there so it's not just a solid color. Be a little bit of shading. Are you bailing out, Riri? We'll catch you later. Maybe see you at Dee Dee's on Wednesday. All right, we're going to let that dry and we'll see how we like it and come back and work on it again later if we need to. All right, I used a watery mixture of quinacridone rose to fill in the stem on the Virginia creeper vine, keeping the left side of the vine highlighted. I worked detail into the leaves with perylene green, which I'll go back later after it's completely dry, a very deep, almost black green. I placed the lines on dry paper using a small spotter brush. I probably have one. Then I used clear water to blend and graduate the color, creating additional form and detail. So that's going to be probably last layer. And this is the problem with this paper. See how it wants to just stop flowing right there and leave a hard water edge, and I don't want that. So I'll go ahead and paint out a little bit with clear water so it will spread without that hard water line. And I'll go back and add a little bit more red right in the middle. Hopefully that'll work, right? Right. I snuck away for a second from Mom. Looks great. Loving the wood grain. Yeah, I'm liking it okay so far. We'll see. All right, now they're going to do the contour body feathers. So we're going to start working on the bird. As discussed earlier, a bird is covered in contour feathers, the intricate color pattern. Now you're learning about birds. I don't know squat about birds other than they crap on your cars. The intricate color pattern on the body, wings, and head can be daunting. I think of it like doing a portrait of a person. You would never try to count the strands of hair on a person's head. The same is true for feathers on a bird. The most important thing is to understand how the feathers come off the area and to follow the surface terrain. The hair or fur-like feathers around the eyes are known as the facial disc. They are concave and collect sound waves that go directly to the owl's ears. We're learning, right? Those feathers allow it to locate prey by sound alone. To quickly map out the direction of the feathers around the eye, she used a rake brush, which allows multiple strokes to be done simultaneously. You can use a small spotter brush, but it is more time consuming. I applied gouache, alternating burnt sienna mixed with ultramarine blue. Who would have thought ultramarine blue in the feathers around the eyes? The more orange the color, the less ultramarine added to the burnt sienna. The darker the brown, the more ultramarine added to the burnt sienna. So there you go. That sounds scary as hell to me. Alright, so she's not showing pictures of everything that is going on here, but let's go ahead and do around the owl's eyes. Yeah. Now I'm getting a little nervous. Okay, bye. Hi, Joycey. Bye, Joycey. Where's my... I want to check the burnt sienna and see if... Because now these paints have been sitting here for a couple hours, so they're probably... Yeah, see, they've concentrated them bad cells. Alright. I'm going to get some new Hansa yellow because I contaminated mine with green. So I get some fresh because she doesn't say it, but I can tell by just looking at the picture that she added some yellow and a little bit of that orange up next to the owl's eye. So I'm thinking I want to do that because it makes it look really good. Big old long gray hair. Wonder where that came from. All right. All right, here we go. Contamination. Did you walk into a Dee Dee or Janet stream? Well, if the water's growing stuff, you're at Dee Dee's. All right. She starts out, it looks like, all right, and I'm going to use the rake brush. Now, I probably have more graphite. I'm thinking, maybe not, but it looks like I maybe have more graphite than she had. So we'll just start with, I'm going to do the yellow first. We might lose it all in the end, but we're going to start with it anyway. And like she said, kind of create the contour. Now, I've never really I mean, I've used this brush, but I've not used it much. I like it. And chances are you're not going to see much of that yellow by the time I add the other colors. Nice brush. Now this brush I know is a Fine Touch, so it's an inexpensive brush from, who's Fine Touch? Hobby Lobby? I think Hobby Lobby. And I bought a lot of these brushes, the specialty brushes, on sale when Hobby Lobby would have 50% off. I know, we do give Dee Dee a hard time, but you know what? Dee Dee can take it. Dee Dee can take it. And here's the truth. If I didn't love Dee Dee so damn much, I wouldn't even bother. That's the truth about most people. If I didn't love you so much, I wouldn't even bother. She can take it. Okay. The little baby bird doesn't look like she had any yellow up around her eyes, so we're going to leave that. And I'll go back in and add that white rim around the eye at the end. It's too hard to try and keep in there. Now, if you're a purist, you'd probably want to go in with some Frisket or something like that. And mask that off. So you're not going back in later. I am not a purist about anything. Live your life, be happy doing it. This does, I have to say, this brush works pretty darn well. And I think this is one area where the graphite really, really helps me. Yep, yeah, I wouldn't goof on anybody if I didn't really like them. Like, sucks to be you. Alright, now, she's not giving me colors that she's using up around the eyes, so I'm going to guess. And if I want, I'll add more colors. of my own choosing. But I think I'm going to add some of that, the same color that I used on the bark there at the end. And the baby bird looks like it's primarily burnt sienna. And this is about the only place that you can see the direction of the feathers on the baby bird, because she's just a fluff ball. Or he, whichever. Might be a little girl bird. We'll just say he, though. There's not much area to work here on this baby bird, so. All right. All right. This is the last layer. It's scaring me. Hi, Mary. All right. These dark feathers don't come out as far. I do want to add that white back in though, so you guys can see it before I'm done. Oh, too much in one place. And now I'm going to get some, I think just a little bit of sepia, because it's a really, really dark brown, and do up around very, very close. Up in here. They look like little tiny, tiny, tiny feathers. We'll add the white back in. It almost looks black. In here. All right. And then I think before I do this outer rim out there, I'm going to do some of the other feathers. I'm thinking, right now I'm thinking, where's that other mixing bowl? I know I moved it. I'm going to get some of this sepia out. Because it's really weird. The top of his head, we're going to do that next. Let's see how dark that is. It's going to dry lighter. Okay, we're going to go with that. Hopefully we won't have to redo it. But and now I think it's just, I don't want to use the rake brush for this because all the strokes then are going to be more uniform. And it looks up here like it's just, the strokes are really, really random. This paint is going to be probably darker than the graphite, so the graphite that I did in here may or may not show up, and that's fine too. But this part just looks like she just did little individual strokes over and over and over again, but still going in the direction of the curvature of the little owl's head, right? I'm really trying to be kind of just random. Don't stay in a pattern. Some short, some long, some connected, some not. My problem is, you know, you kind of get in a rhythm and then pretty soon all your strokes are looking alike, going in the same direction, and you want them going somewhat in the same direction, the curvature of the head, but yeah, otherwise it looks too uniform and not really very real. And it looks like I'm going to take a little bit of this sepia. I'm winging it at this point. I'm not using the exact colors that she had used, but I'm actually trying to go along with her painting rather than her instructions. Yeah, that looks more. Only I want it really light. Because the owl's ear is very light colored, but it's not white. Now underneath here she left pretty white, but up at the top it's not white. Thank you, Dawn. All right, now the feathers that I've shown them as like this because that's the way it was kind of in the drawing. I'm trying to think. I almost would prefer a flat brush, which I'm gonna try that. Let's see, where's my flat brushes? I only have 5,000 brushes around here. Let me see. I don't want too wide. And I don't have a black velvet flat brush. I might have to get a different. I don't see any that I love. And the one that I do like, well, here, let's use this one. It's not exactly flat. It's called a dagger striper, I guess. Yeah, I think I'm going to use this one. We'll see. It's all about learning over here, you know? And I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit more color on this horn over here. Because that dried pretty light, so yeah, it's okay. And then I'll take a little bit. And I don't want to do too much of the finish work yet, but I want you guys to see it. I need to do his eyelid. The crazy thing is she shows the eyelid as kind of orangish. Like, really? But I'm trusting her. I'm going to trust her. No, that's too dark. Just slightly darker than the actual eye, which is odd. I'm going to darken it a little. All right. I'm just thinking about how I want to do this. I think I'm going to use I'll start with that color, and then I can always go darker. Actually, back up the boat. Because the graphite in here is going to show through, I'm going to take off those curved feathers because they don't actually start until about his wing. So that's just my bad in the drawing. This is more, it looks like waves of feathers, so I don't want to fight those curves. I'm going to take them out. So that's a nice thing about having graphite, that you can just pick it up, because this one actually and again, I don't want it too uniform, so now I'm just going to add some additional color in here and there and try and go a little bit darker, but still leave some of the white. This was actually a good paintbrush for that. Yay me. Yeah, I like that. All right. So now I'm using the rake brush again to do that part around his eye, and I'm not sure if this is dark enough, to kind of connect those two sections where the feathers definitely are changing. And in there I've almost left no white. I'll let that dry before I go back in with the dark. And then right above his nose right there, it's really odd the way she's got it done. I guess she came in later with a really, really dark and transitioned from this flecking. It's almost like it's not dark enough. And I will add some darker in there. I'm going to have to. Okay, right now I'm going to add a little bit of white back in there. And the dark around the eyes, because I'm probably not going to get to this feathering. But you've seen me do the leaves and the rest of it, so, you know, you kind of know how the rest of it's going to go. But I do want the white back in here around his eye. And then I'm going to do the his pupil with a black. Because he just looks weird without having the black of his eye, at least to me. So I'll just use, I'll just use the micron because I know it's good in black. Hey, Julie. Good to see you. Thanks for coming. One thing about microns, like the graphite has a sheen to it, the micron won't have that. It'll dry completely matte, much like the watercolors. So, but at this point, anything permanent black would work. But if you're working with watercolor, always choose a permanent pen. Always. And because there's moisture, it's going to want to remove that watercolor that I put on top there. But yeah. Yeah, I'll feel better when the pupil is black again. Yeah, see, that just looks better doing that. And if that white doesn't stay white enough, I'll get some Chinese white out and do it. Because that jelly roll, it's not staying white. Acrylic ink will, acrylic paint will. I have to keep cleaning off the nib of my pen here. Because it gets gunked up with the binder and the watercolor. Yeah, that's better. Okay, I'm liking his eyes, up around his eyes, you guys. I really am. So a painting like this takes longer than you... well, it takes me longer. If Kathy Arbour was doing this, she'd have had it done about 2 hours ago and said, okay, go out in your garden. I'm slow as hell, and I know it. This is going to come out okay, you guys. I wasn't sure. Now, do I want to do it again? I don't know. It's going to be probably a week or more before I decide that. I've already got it drawn out, so I probably will. It's just a matter of how much of the graphite do I want to put on the next drawing, or how much do I want to just do with the watercolor, right? And actually this black I could be doing with acrylic paint as well. I'm going to leave the blue in that highlight because it does look very, very cool. I just don't need quite that much. So there you purists go. I just wrecked it with ink. Only that's not in my world. For me, it's as much as just doing as the final product, to be honest. That helped a lot. Yeah, I kind of think so, CB, that I'm going to try the next one. Because, like up here around the eyes, I can still see the graphite where I did it very heavily, but in other places it's there, but I've covered it to the extent that it probably isn't making that much of a difference. So all that time spent, yeah, I'm not sure that it made that much of a difference, honestly. So there's that. Now is when the dinking around starts. Because I mostly wanted to get his face done for you guys, because the rest of it's just gonna be probably pretty easy. Or much repetition, which you've already seen. That place right above his nose is really odd, because in the original, and I'll show you it here in just a minute, I don't have this right for sure, it shows it as white, but on the owl's face, to me, it looks weird. We be people who are slapping colors on pages and gluing our little hearts out. You can say that again, Rachel. When you are using cross-hatching as your shading, should the lines all go the same direction? Seems like they should, but not sure. Anyone know? When I do cross-hatching, yeah, I pretty much, let me get a craftier pencil here. This would be my cross-hatching, where I try and keep the lines not necessarily uniformly spaced apart, but all going in the very same direction. And then depending on how dark or how light you want the shading, you know, either what lead you're using or how close your lines are together. Because I could go ahead and do that cross hatching with more white in there, even though they're going the same direction. And it would be less shaded. Do you see that, what I'm saying? With all your art books, CB, somebody has done cross hatching. Yeah, and that's, Lena, that's another thing. Should it curve and follow the shape or have the same pattern from top to bottom? I always have it the same shape. So if I've got a hard line here like this, and I want this in here shaded, I would cross hatch like this. And then like that. And then depending on how dark I wanted it, I would either use a softer lead pencil. But yeah, no, I would not do my cross hatching like this, following the contour. No, I would not. But one, this way it becomes so repetitious that I could go back in there as many times as I want and add more graphite. The thing is, make sure you get it up close to where you're shading, you know, don't leave white against where you're shading. But I could just keep adding more and more cross hatching. The one that's hard for me, cross hatching is pretty easy, but the one that for me are the dots, where you try, you know, add more dots. And then the nice thing about that though is when you want your shading to start evening out, you just do fewer and fewer dots, you know. But I like the effects of both. I really do. Right, on a different part, I always make the lines go in the same direction. Yeah, I do too. So, there we go. All right, and the breast of this bird is really, for the most part, white. So I probably will take like a neutral tint. How will I do that? Yeah, I'll probably take a little bit of a neutral tint and use it as the gray to just put a little bit of shading in there, but it really doesn't have much, you know, just here and there. I could use Payne's Gray too, either one. I think I'll use neutral tint and then just water it way, way down. I mean way, way down. Maybe even more than that. So you see a little bit, but not much at all. In fact, before I do that, I'm going to pick up some of that graphite with a kneaded eraser. And I've only got 10 minutes left, so if you have any questions or need anything or want anything, say it or do it now. Have to go to the post office, just saw the time. Okay, bye, Rachel. I'll see you Wednesday over at Dee Dee's. Thanks so much. I will finish this and show it next Monday. I didn't get as much done as I really thought I would, but I'm so persnickety, you guys. And the baby bird, he's just a real, real light burnt sienna color, kind of. All right. I washed that out good? So add a little bit of shading here and there, but really this is going to be the whitest part of the entire painting. And then do it in the direction of the feathers. But this looks like a big old fluff ball right here on his chest. Thanks, Dorothy. And I might add more, like down here, these feathers are going to be probably more of this dark sepia. And it truly is how I've drawn it here. It's just row after row of just like this. Sometimes connecting, sometimes not. So thank your lucky stars you don't have to watch that. And next week, because Sharon asked, we will I'll be playing with magicals, I guess, which I better be in the mood to make a mess. Because magicals are a mess. I haven't played with them for a while, so it'll be fun. So I appreciate you guys being here. Sorry I'm so damn slow. Same 3 hours regardless, right? But now you have an idea of how I'll go ahead and finish this whole painting. And in between those dark rows of feathers like that, I probably will go back and add some of the burnt sienna. Maybe watered down. Let me see how dark this is. Yeah, see, that's too dark. Yeah, maybe that. Just here and there. But I want it to be good and dry when I do that. So, so thank your lucky stars you don't have to watch this. But that's how I'll finish it. And then I probably up here, I'm not getting as dark a color as I would like. So I probably, I don't know, let me see. Even with that sepia, I'm just not getting as dark as I would like. So I'm going to add some. It's not black. I don't even have black watercolor. But it's a natural tint that, yeah. See, it looks better when it's a little bit darker. Thanks, Kathy. Yeah, I'll go ahead and finish it. I'm excited. Yeah, I think it looks okay. I'm glad I spent more time on his eyes, because that makes him look a whole lot better. And then this little fluff ball, yeah, he'll just look like fluff. So, okay, you guys, I'm at least done streaming for today. I'm going to sit here and paint a little while longer, but I'm done streaming. So, thanks so much for coming. Go do something fun. No, it's my time. So, all right, I'm out of here. Love you guys. Thanks for coming. See you. Bye.